Hey, this is old Uncle Mark here. How we doing? This is a rig rundown lesson here. It's people want to know what I'm using, and anyhow, I've got a this amp here is a vintage 47. That's a brand. What they do is recreate old Valco amps. So old Valco amps, like the old Gibsons. And they're very much like Fender Champs in many ways. They're not clean amps. They're not designed for cleans. They're designed to be dirty. If you hear some old blues records, you will hear them use old Gibsons, old Valcos. So this is the circuit for it. Originally, this amp had a 6 SL7 tube preamp, a 5881 power amp tube, and a 5Y3 GT rectifier tube. I changed out the 5881 for a 6V6. I got a really good deal on some 6V6s. So anyway, if you like that kind of stuff, those are the 3 tubes in it. This down here is a Reverb Unit. It's a standalone Reverb Unit. It's got 3 tubes in it, 6SL7, a 6V6, and a 5Y3 GT. I really like standalone Reverb units. I know it's way out of most people's price range as well as the amp, but I really do like the tone I get out of my Reverb unit. It is spectacular. It's just spectacular. I also use some pedals here. This is my pedal board. If you notice, I get the matchy-matchy color combination. I like the wine Taurus and the white. This is a Blackbird pedal board. This is the mini. It's like a nano board. And I got that in wine Taurus as well. I only use 3 pedals with this rig. So I use a Polytune. I'm really a big fan of the Polytunes. I can see it in the, if I play a gig in the daytime, I can really see well tuning this, my guitar. I use an Earthquaker Talons. It's got three levels for, you know, my treble, my middle, and my bass. That's really important with a cigar box guitar. It has a level, it has presence. Presence is really good. If you're playing at low levels, you turn the presence way up. If you're playing outside and you're cranking everything, you can turn the presence down. It kind of keeps everything the same, and it's got a drive. I also use a magnetic echo. This is a Keeley. And so this is really, it kind of mimics a Binson tape echo, which frankly, I can't afford a Binson. And I spend a lot of money on gear. I just can't afford a Binson tape echo. This magnetic echo does pretty well. It mimics it very well. I'm still looking for another echo. I've got a few echoes. So I'm still looking to replace this echo at some point. I like echo and reverb, but like salt and pepper, you know, just a little bit, not a lot, just a little bit. So those are my, that's the down and dirty of my stuff here. My Cigar Box Guitar is a Rob Wroble built cigar box guitar. Rob uses all reclaimed woods. They're free built. There's no machining. Okay, this is all free built, hand sculpted. Mine is a Voyage. It's a real cigar box. I like the finishes, the finishing touches on this. And I think the coolest finishing touch is the fact that he puts the label, the cigar label, up here as well. And it really sets off the neck. The nut is bone. It's got a 0 fret, which is really important with cigar box guitars. I like how the moons, or dots, however you want to call them, are lined up this way, and then they change once you come past the 12th fret. I think that's spectacular. That's what sold me on his instruments. I know there's a lot of other builders out there that are great, but this is what sold me, is that they switch. So I don't have to think when I cross the 12th fret. It's also got a lace pickup. I wanted a non-battery powered pickup. I'm a guitar player, so I'm really big on pickups. I've changed out a lot of pickups in a lot of Strats. a lot of Telecasters. I'm really big on pickups. This is great. At low volume, it has tremendous clean. It's sparkly clean. It's really nice. It still has that woody tone, but it's very clean. I like that. And when this thing is cranked up, when my volume pots, by the way, the volume pots are 250K. When this volume is cranked all the way up, it'll send this tube into like this wonderful distortion. It's just really, really nice. I teach both acoustic and electric cigar box guitar. I need it to perform with my acoustic amp, which is a Marshall. It's a 50 watt solid state. So I need it to perform with that. I also need it to perform with this. And some things you can really do with this is, I'll turn up the level on my pedal down here, and you can hear what kind of overdrives I can get out of this. Also, what's wonderful is it feeds back really well. So take a listen. Here it comes. That is just sweet. Okay. That is just sweet, right? That is just truly sweet. I love these lace. They're great. This guitar is actually featured in this issue of this March 18 issue of this Vintage Guitar magazine. This is my cigar box guitar. There it is. So it's been featured, my guitar is actually featured in Vintage, in the Vintage Guitar magazine. Also, Rob has a little thing in Vintage Guitar magazine. So if you get the magazine, it's on page 79. He talk about Rob and his instruments. Rob doesn't give me anything for talking about his guitars. I really believe they just speak for themselves. I really do. So lace, amazing. I would go with a lace anytime on cigar box guitars. I really like it. What can I say? You know, this is just great, huh? Here it comes. Even at low levels. You know, for classic rock, getting that kind of feedback is really sweet. So also, I do use slides. I make my own. So I bust off my own bottles. I just use a Walmart, you know, glass cutter. I score them. As you notice, they're not perfect. I just kind of score the bottle. I like the green ones best, and I use some 60 grit. So I score it, and then I use a boiling hot water bath and a cold water bath, 30 seconds each. The thing snaps, and I use 60 grit sandpaper. I also make them clear so that you can see, lesson-wise, you can see through the glass. But I do prefer the green bottles. You know, it's up to you what you want to do. I use Dunlop Picks, they're 88s. The strings that I use, my high G string is a 24, my D string is a 34, and my low is a 42, and these come out of a pack of Dunlops. So I'm not a big string guy. Look, you give me strings and I'll use them, okay? If you give me a 22, I'll put it on here. I wouldn't go lower than a 22 on this first one, and I wouldn't go lower than a maybe a 45. But you give me strings and I'll use them. This is Old Uncle Mark's rig rundown. I am not in the mothership, I'm in my office. So anyway, this is my rig rundown. It's really fun. Really love this. I really love this guitar, and I love this gear. This is my forever gear, by the way. So also, see ya. Thank you so much. And I do have a in the show notes. I have a donation link. It's a paypal.me/Uncle Mark Tips. Thank you for all your donations. Thank you so much for your subscriptions, sharing on social media. You guys are fantastic, and I thank you so much. And these are great. So Anyway, look up the vintage. Hey, look up the Vintage 47 Spectator on vintage47.com. If you look up the Spectator and you click on that link, you will find me playing through this with my ES125 guitar, my archtop. It's really fun to see. So that amp is featured on the Vintage 47 website. So we'll see you. Take care, guys.